Hello everyone, it's me, Pepper. I got some new snazzy glasses. So besides that, a few other things. Today I finally get to work on, or actually show you the beginning stages of the next page of Yaya. Um, I'm going to talk during the process of this one. I think it's important. Uh, it has to deal with the layout and how my writing dictates the layout. So let's get to it. All right, so jumping on in, I go back and I try to make sure that I got page three, the title of page three, at least done properly. Each page has its own title, so I kind of work from that and kind of make sure that they flow properly between each page. This is the one where she's trying to get out the door. Originally, I was thinking both of them were going to get out the door, but honestly, after the events played out, seems like she would be the one leaving. Um, then I moved to the thumbnail of the layout of the page that I was thinking of. It's very organic the way that I think that it should evolve. So once I get that down, then I start going into the description of each panel. I do this fairly quick process, even though essentially what this was about 35 minutes worth of work in this video. Going back to the whole, I was part of the 100 Days of Making Comics challenge, and so you get 30 minutes minimum a day to kind of go through this. I'm not saying I'm in the middle of the challenge, but I've picked up that habit of working on something for a half an hour every single day, dealing with my personal comics, and that's what this one is. So I'm still doing it. I just don't do the challenge. I don't say I'm doing the challenge because I do it naturally. And some days when I don't feel like I want to do anything or I want to just take a rest, I don't have the challenge looming over me to do stuff like this. But as you can see while I was talking, I had 8 panels, now I have 9 panels. I just didn't want to do a pano. It didn't seem right in that state. And then, so I did a bunch of descriptions and I got to a certain panel and then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make a little bit of drawing to represent what I've already drawn to see on how I'm going to develop the last 4 panels. And the main thing is while I'm doing this, like, I have to remember that I also have to put this on a page. The page is about a third of what I've been normally working on for Lake Kiki Poppy and other comics. So I've been drawing on 11 by 17. This is a 6 by 10. So this is, you know, like, not even, yeah, it's probably a little over a third, but not quite a fourth. Or it's not even half. But with that being said, I finished the last 4 of the descriptions, what's going to happen in them, reviewed the first 2 pages to kind of make sure that I have the, everything lined up properly so that they all look uniformed as far as the measurements between the panels go and the story setting. A lot of people don't realize, like, when you're doing these thumbnails and you have like these little lines, the story looks like it's going to go really fast because that dictation of the lines in between each panel actually sets your visual cues of how fast the story's moving. A lot of people don't believe that. Some people do believe it. It just depends on the person. Like, if you're just a rapid reader and visual person, you're going to get it really quickly. If you see a wider space margin, then it'll take you longer to see the next picture, and then that's what that visual cue is. And that's what layout is so important to do, is you have to kind of get that mentality down. And so once I finished this page, I had to do the layout. And so I went based off of 2 things. I wanted a 1/2 inch border all the way around, like my first 2 pages. So that's what I'm doing here. It's not quite like an exact measurement of 6. It's a little bit under 6 inches. wide, so like that's why I have to kind of finagle a little. Um, make sure that I have exactly a half inch each time. But I'm lining up on my desk. I have like this little prop thing. So I line up my page to be flat against it, and I line up my ruler to be flat against it. Um, if you have like a T ruler, those work out much better. Trying to make sure that I can get one soon that's a little bit better quality than the one I've used in the past. I love them. I grew up with them. My dad being a structural engineer, he also worked with my grandfather. I used to steal his rulers all the time as a child. Yes, I stole rulers. I was never a normal kid. Anyway, so based off of the thumbnail, I went ahead and I did the layout of all the things. This is me realizing that that pen is not going to work on that because, well, yeah, watercolor paper soaks up pens really quickly, especially ink pens, and if they're waterproof, they soak them up even faster. So, little tip there: just make sure that whatever one that you're doing has a lot of ink in it. If it runs, I'm sorry. There's ways to prevent it, but it's something that like it's hand pressure. You have to kind of go with it and learn the materials very quickly as you're going if you decide that you're going to do this method of inking before doing watercolors. It took me a while. I'm still perfecting it. I will probably always perfect it. But anyways, getting back to the layout. As you can see, the thick and thin line type situations, I have those thin lines because those three panels are supposed to happen kind of very rapidly and like almost like it's a movement of one scene in total. The next four are supposed to be moving together in a similar fashion. So that's why you'll see like the thin lines between the top two and then the bottom two and then the ones in the center will also be the same way. Because it's supposed to jump like that. It's supposed to do that. When I said that there's a visual cue, it's not something that's like I was loading. It's an actual like thing. It's when you're doing that. Anyway, so that's the layout, and I just I'm done. So I know that was kind of quick. If you have questions about what I do, put them down below because I know that was fast. I just didn't want to have a very long video today. I'm not sick. I'm just kind of not feeling the greatest today mentally. And so to do this process actually kind of helped me break my mental funkiness sort of deal. A lot of people say that, when they do comics, they love creating, they love doing this, they love sharing what they do. I love sharing what I do. Don't get me wrong. That's why I'm putting videos together. That's why I'm doing it. And that's why I appreciate every single time that someone likes it as well and hits a subscribe and hits that little bell to remind them that I uploaded a post and that gives me a thumbs up or leaves me a comment. I really do appreciate it. But when it comes to layout, it's very organic. Every single person is going to do something different. So when you're doing your own layout, think in the way that your brain works and how you can actually handle telling your story in a sequential art form. Sequential art being comic book page art, or even if you want to do the other way that I did, not this way is like the way that I do when I work with Bill. The other way that I used to work was I would do a storyboard, and storyboarding is more towards the side of film and animation, which I've done some of that stuff. I mean, not in a while, but I've still done some of it. Excuse me. But what's good about it is if you do it in a certain manner, you can actually get a comic book out of it if you truly break it down and kind of go that route, especially if you're a visual person. So Like I said, everyone has a unique process. Just flow with whatever you feel is right for you. And if I can help you, great. Give me a thumbs up if you like this content. Give me a subscribe if you want to see more. Hit the little bell if you don't want to miss a beat when I actually post. And I will see you next week. Thanks very much. Bye.